saw that, right? I'm sorry. I think it's pretty loud. Testing. That was really loud. Good evening, everyone. In just a few seconds, we're going to start the programming, and we're going to have a great show. It's going to be a great show, right? Because this is a show tonight. But we're going to bring in our inductees in just a second. When they walk in, obviously we want to celebrate them as loud as we possibly can. So we're introducing at this particular time our 2022 Windsor High School athletic inductees at this time. Wow, we did a great job with that. I have goosebumps. Hi everyone, my name is, I want to welcome you tonight, obviously, to our induction ceremony. I guess I started too early, huh? I started too early? So I want to welcome us to our induction ceremony for tonight. My name is Chris Fulton. I humbly serve, and I mean humbly serve, as the Director of Athletics in Windsor Public Schools. Thank you, I appreciate it. This is my first Windsor High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony, so as some of the inductees are here, getting their first introduction to how we do things, so am I. So I've been a resident here in Windsor for 23 years, and I've served as the athletic director for the past 3 years. Are there any veterans present tonight? If we have any veterans present, could we stand up real quickly, please? Well, you can see how much we appreciate by the applause, how much we appreciate your service. Obviously, today is Veterans Day, and we appreciate all that you have done and will do in the future. Athletic Hall individuals inductees here tonight are as follows. We have Judy Saxton. Is she present? Ken Johnson. John Falana. My man, where's John? All right. Betty Gregory Joseph. Vinny Cianfarini. Vinny here. We have Lauren Light. Lauren Light. Mr. Charlie Vola. Ellen Dodgewitz. Barry Chasen. And Sheila Martin. We also have some team individuals here, or if you're here, would you mind standing so we can acknowledge you? Any team Hall of Famers have already been inducted into team? All right, so the Hall of Fame committee, I know that the Hall of Fame has been in since 2012, and that committee consists of Sheila Martin, Barry Chasen, who's up front, don't stand, being obstinate, being stubborn, Lauren Life, Ellen Dodgewitz, Celeste Over, John Falana, John Zito, Nicole Donzella, and myself, Chris Paul. Are there any former committee members who are present tonight? If anybody who used to be on the committee who's... Thank you for serving, appreciate it. So, I'm not gonna take a whole bunch of time tonight. We have some food, we have some awards, and we have an MC that we'll bring up after we eat. But I just want to say a few words about Windsor. I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut, originally. And actually the first time I heard of Windsor, I heard of Windsor is, I went to Brian McMahon, but Norwalk High School was playing Windsor High in basketball. And I was like, oh, we're gonna go kill him, right? And then we lost. And I was like, wow, they must have some talent up there in Windsor, huh? So, and at that time, And then I got married, and that brought me to Windsor, ironically. So my brothers-in-law both have attended Windsor High, and I've known a lot of people in the community through them. So we know that Windsor is rich in athletic, in history, and in talent. And we also, I recently got some information from a person. I won't say their name because they're in here tonight. But I got some information, and I had a chance to look through the information, and so many of some of the names that I read, I was like, wow, I know that person. I've done Whipple with that person, or I've seen this person here, or I've had conversations with that person, not knowing how prominent they were in Windsor High athletics. So it was really really eye-opening for me to learn that. And so we know that tonight is a night of celebration. And when I thought about doing this, standing up here, and I'm not going to talk too much longer, I thought about, we're in the business, at least as an athletic director, business of kids, of helping kids grow. But when you think of the Hall of Fame, we're talking about when we were kids, right? And so we're right there, right? When we were younger, and we talked about those conversations we had with our coaches, and those relationships that we built, is going into the swimming pool and smelling the chlorine and hearing the water splash, or going into the basketball court and hearing the sneakers squeak and the basketballs, and just having those relationships with our kids, or even just standing out on the field. I'm kind of corny like that. I guess if I wasn't an athlete myself, they would call me a geek. But just standing out on the field and looking at the kaleidoscope of colors of the fall, and just smelling the brisk air, it's nothing like it. And it brings me back to my time as an athlete when I was growing up. And so I say that because we have a kaleidoscope of people that we're inducting in here tonight. It crosses all social, economic barriers, and racial barriers, and religion. Just come and have a good time and celebrate. And so we're going to do that tonight. How about that? We're going to celebrate Curtis Collette, class of 1987. We're going to celebrate Chad Robinson, class of 1989. We're going to celebrate Andrea Grace, class of 1999. We're going to celebrate Alexander Neal, class of 2001. John L. Burks, class of 2004. Justin Wilson, class of 2008. Jamie Wakefield, class of 2011. Brian Gillespie, who was our distinguished supporter. So we know who's still in the show tonight. Joanne Chasen, coach. That's a close second. The 1981 CBC Conference Championship Girls Track and Field Team. And the 1975 CBC Conference Championship Football Team. Before we get to the point of getting to eating, I want to also say Win TV is streaming tonight's ceremony on their YouTube page. So if you want to go back and take a look at it at a different time, you can at www.wintv.com. They also have copies for sale. So if you wanted to purchase it, that will be $10. If you wanted to get a purchase of this tonight. So with that being said, we're going to, I don't know how we're going to start the food, but I think that's where we are at this particular time. I'm going to introduce, hi everyone. Okay, good. So we're going to introduce our MC for the night. So tonight we have Mr. Kevin Nathan. Kevin anchors the 11 a.m. newscast. Co-anchors the 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. evening newscast at NBC Connecticut. Since joining NBC Connecticut in 1996, Kevin has won 11 New England Emmy Awards and has received 47 Emmy nominations. Prior to becoming a news anchor, Kevin spent 2 decades as NBC Connecticut's sports director and reported live from 5 Super Bowls, 7 World Series, and many of the UConn men's and women's basketball team's trips to the Final Four. He was voted the Connecticut Sportcaster of the Year 7 times by his peers. Kevin finds a way in his free time to give back to the community, as he's here tonight. He has served as a board member for a variety of local charities and has volunteered as an MC and host for hundreds of events across the state. Kevin and his wife, Christine, are the proud parents of 3 children, Ryan, Brian, and Katie. When he is not spending time with his family and close friends, Kevin loves a good book, running, working out, and going to the beach. And we just found out that we have a mutual friend, Darren Rizzi, who played with me at the University of Rhode Island. So can we please bring Mr. Nathan, give him a huge round of applause as he comes forward.
Thank you so much. You want to know the difference between playing football at the Division I level and Division III? There's the difference. I look up to Chris. Chris Fulton, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are lucky to have an awesome athletic director here. And we're trying to Google it in here, but I'm pretty sure that my college football coach learned from his coach, so we're all connected. And I love what Chris said earlier about it's a kaleidoscope. It really is. It's about diversity. It's about bringing everybody together. And I don't think anything in the world unifies us more than sports. This is a lot easier than being on 3 hours for election night and not saying something stupid. Can we agree that we're all on the same page tonight for Windsor High School? It's good to be in the room where we're all thinking the same way. I want to thank, before we get into our introductions, my dear friend Barry Chasen for inviting me tonight. Barry is truly not only a Windsor, but a Connecticut treasure. I've known him for almost 15 years. We met at a banquet, got to work together on the RBI program, which he orchestrated. Now because we're friends, I get those emails that go on. It's like, Gone with the Wind. I get the long phone calls, but I love him. He's really an amazing man. And Coach Barry Chasen is, he's the glue. He is the glue for Windsor High School athletics. And can't imagine those Hall of Fame meetings with Coach Barry in there. Sure, they go on and on, but he's got a heart of gold. And when he asked me to do this, I was glad to be able to do it. Amen. Amazing man because he has an amazing wife, indeed, and we will get to that. You all have the program. I'm going to read a little bit about each of our inductees, and then we're going to hear from the inductees themselves and the people who are kind enough to introduce them. So our first inductee tonight is Curtis Collette, class of 87. Over his 4 years, 9 varsity letters, the 3-sport athlete that doesn't exist much anymore, swimming, soccer, and lacrosse. You don't hear that very often. In addition to his success in athletics, Curtis excelled in the classroom, a member of the National Honor Society, and the Windsor High School Scholar Athlete. His graduating year was a captain of the swim team for a couple of years and went on to swim at Central Connecticut State, where he was a varsity swimmer and captain there. Here to introduce Curtis Collette tonight is Al Collette.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to introduce my son, Curtis. Curtis was our firstborn and was born on Thanksgiving Day. A big baby boy, the nurses all called him their Thanksgiving turkey. Growing up, he enjoyed athletics and at ages 6 and 8 began swimming and soccer. He worked hard at it and was quite successful, especially in swimming. His mother, Kit, and I... Oh, thank you. His mother, Kit, and I had many happy times watching him compete. In high school, he competed in swimming, soccer, and lacrosse. He was named to the National Honor Society as well as being scholar athlete at graduation. He went on to swim in college after high school. He is now married to a wonderful wife, Mary, and father to 3 great kids. 2 are away at college, and 1 who is following in his footsteps as a fine swimmer in high school. We are very proud of him, as well as his sister Janine and brother Alan Jr., who are also scholar athletes at Windsor High. Thank you. That's Kurt. That's Curtis.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's quite an honor. Thank you, Dad. I really appreciate the kind words. Athletics at Windsor High School were something I looked forward to every year, and it was really made kind of my time in high school. I wasn't always involved with student council or a lot of the other clubs. I spent all of my time with athletics. And one of the things I can look back on, I can think of all of my coaches right now, Tim Foster, Franz Krott, Gary Dennis, and Frank Hallish. I can all remember all their names right up to this day because they're such an important impact on my life and how I was age going forward and learned so many lessons. And I thought that Windsor High School was such a unique environment because it was like a nice small school, but we had so many opportunities there. I remember playing in state games. In swimming, we went down to New Haven how many other times I can't remember. And it was just a great opportunity where you could expand beyond this little town that we had next to Hartford and really extend who you are and who you could be and see the big world that was out there. And it provided me opportunities that I didn't think that I was going to have before. I went to the Naval Academy for a while, and a lot of what I learned from athletics set me up for success later on in life. And I really do appreciate the opportunities that Windsor High gave me, and one of the things I'm honored to be here tonight, to be recognized for, my accomplishments back then. But it was a lot of people that were my coaches, my parents, and my friends that supported me along the way. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
And that's pretty cool, Curtis. You get the lifetime pass to games. That's awesome. Congratulations. Let's hear it for Curtis Collette one more time. Unfortunately, our next inductee can't be here tonight. He's out on the West Coast, but Chad Robinson, class of '89, wrote quite a script in his time here at Windsor High School and beyond. Class of '89, salutatorian, class scholar, starting player for the basketball and golf teams. His junior and senior years, first basketball game of his junior year, Chad set the single game scoring record, 34 points against Hartford Weaver High School. In hoops, Chad was all-conference both his junior and senior year, first team All-State, and a third team McDonald's All-American in his senior year before going on to play basketball at Harvard. Here for his induction tonight, I'd like to welcome up, please, John Zito.
Good evening. Like Kevin said, Chad couldn't make it. Before I read his speech, just real quick, for those of you who got a chance to see Chad play, amazing player. I've been watching Windsor High basketball for a little over 50 years. I think he's the best player ever to play at Windsor. And type of kid he was, he went to Harvard College, played basketball. Matter of fact, I remember watching his first game. He scored, I think, 18 points against Duke at Cameron Arena as a freshman. Midway through the year, he left the basketball team to pursue other interests, and he's become an unbelievably successful businessman and just a great guy. So I'm honored that he asked me to speak for him, and I'm going to read a speech. Chad says, "Thank you to the Windsor High School Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for bestowing upon me this tremendous honor. I wish we were able to make the trip from Los Angeles to be there in person, and I'm thankful that the committee has agreed to convey my sentiments. On behalf of myself, my wife Jennifer Robinson, my parents James and Madeline Clark Robinson, my teammates and coaches, this award represents the sum of collective efforts focused on lifting each other's towards achievement in every field of human endeavor. Our basketball head coach, Dom Ferrara, may he rest in peace, said being a together team is more important than winning. If you are not together as a team, any success you taste is not going to last. Achieve togetherness, achieve unity of purpose, and success will come into the picture. I interpreted this to mean success will result if individuals effectively unite for a shared purpose. In our time together as a team at Windsor High School, we both achieved togetherness and tasted success. As happened too often, our basketball team and the entire school were brought together through the tragic loss of our teammate Norman Edwards early in our senior year of 1988. More than anyone, Norman embodied the spirit of togetherness and unity of purpose and served both as a motivation for us to achieve success in his memory and a reminder of what is most important in life, the relationships and love that we have for one another. I would like to specifically recognize and thank a number of my teammates that continue to be among the most meaningful relationships and influences in my life. Leading our team was Corey Googe, our co-captain, who comes from a family of academic and athletic achievers. His older brother, Eddie, paved the path for Corey and I to follow. Corey is continuing to perpetrate the lessons learned from Coach Ferrara through coaching his son's AAU basketball team. Elliot Beaver and Greg Green continue to be among my closest friends and flew to California 3 years ago to support me at my wedding. Elliot went on to attend Wesleyan University, where he also played on the basketball team and is now a successful attorney in the tri-state area. Greg graduated from the University of Harvard and today is a successful real estate developer in Connecticut. Clayton Knight was one of the most gifted athletes I have known and was dominant in both basketball and cross country. While he walked slow, he ran extremely fast and was among the best three-pointers in the state. As our point guard, Sean Skeet was an important leader and set our tone both offensively and defensively. Sean was dependable, he showed up every night, and was the key piece that kept us connected. Julius Patiller is a natural leader that brought intelligence, aggressiveness, and physicality to our team at the moments we needed it most, both on and off the court. As a junior, Julius carried himself with seniority and commanded respect in every environment. Julius was also outstanding as the goalie on the Windsor High School soccer team. Walter King was a flexible teammate who had the skill to play multiple positions and gave our team the ability to adapt in in-game situations. As juniors, David Jones and Eric Kowalski excelled both academically and athletically and brought a quiet, competitive drive which inspired success for themselves and our team. I would also like to thank administrators and fellow students that had a meaningful impact on my experience at Windsor High School. Principal Lawrence Shea showed strong interest and support for students academically and athletically. He seemed to be omnipresent and was as likely to pay an unexpected and unannounced visit to the basketball gym as he was to the classroom. Mr. Shea was voted favorite teacher in 1989 and deserved the acknowledgement. Teachers that were most important influences on me were Diane Van Osdale, Margaret Jones, and Bruce Murphy, and James Taylor. There are too many students to name whose friendships and support were meaningful to me, but a few whose success continued to inspire and motivate me are Debbie Archer, Julius Bayless, Errol Archer, Floyd Bagwell, Jason Gutchin, Jason Harris, Jimmy Gianfrido, Anne Marie Horan, and Jane Smalls. I would like to thank them for their influence on my years at Windsor High School and beyond. My parting message would be this: the success I hold most dear in my life are those I accomplish at the side of my friends, teammates, classmates, and family. I truly believe that Coach Ferraro's words are sage advice for us and all our journey through life. Achieve togetherness, achieve unity and purpose, and success will come into the picture. I stand by these words and am grateful for all of you and for all of those who have stood by me together on my journey. Thank you, Chad Robinson.
John, beautifully delivered, and I don't know Chad, but it sounds like a class act. That was a wonderful message and a reminder of the power of coaches and what we learn playing sports. Those lessons, in many cases, stick with us forever. So that's a testament to what Chad learned at Windsor High School. Our next inductee is Andrea Grace, class of 1999. She graduated from Windsor High School as a two-sport varsity athlete in basketball and soccer. In soccer, she was the starting varsity goalkeeper all 4 years. All conference, CCC West, all 4 years, named the all-state team her senior year. Captain during her senior year. During that year, the team made it to the state tournament, won their first-round game with Andrea's game-winning goal and save during penalty kicks. In hoops, she played on both JV and varsity freshman year, starting most games on both levels. Captain as a senior, all conference honors, junior and senior year, before accepting a scholarship to play ball at Binghamton University. Here to introduce Andrea Grace tonight is Steve Grace.
Okay, well, it all began. Rec basketball, soccer, softball. Then she graduated to travel soccer. I'm not sure how she got recruited for that. And then Jack Darsh, I think, started a travel basketball team that he recruited her for. And then we found AAU. One Saturday we were playing in Wallingford in basketball, and their coach was the head of the starters AAU club. So he said, this girl ought to come down and try out. She did, and 6 years later, she finished up that program. It was all easy with rec, but then I got into AAU and you see the country. Then she got to high school, and you just heard about that. She got her share of all conference and all state accolades. Went on to Binghamton University, where she's also a member of the Hall of Fame up there. Her freshman team got inducted as a team to the Hall of Fame for winning the ECAC championship her freshman year. And as good as athlete as she is and was, maybe more was than is, she's a even better teacher, parent, daughter, and friend. Still my favorite and only daughter, Andrea.
How's it going, everyone? I wasn't nervous until about a minute ago, which is great. I have an honorary guest that really wants to be near me on stage, my son Cameron. So he's just hanging out over there. Just give him a little, applause. He'll be good to go. Thanks, Dad. That was one hell of an introduction. Thank you to the committee for accepting me into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to my fellow nominees. Thanks to my family and friends for being here. And all my teammates over the years. It's really been a pleasure. So, yes.
I was a girl that put your flower on your breast.
Yeah. Yes, and then we had to fix it again. But it's okay. You were there for round one. Yes. So my journey in high school started in the fall of 1995. I didn't even know that summer if I was going to try out for the soccer team. I did, and I did not expect to be the starting keeper my freshman year. I remember my brother Jeff telling me, go to soccer practice, and Mr. Vola, Coach Vola, likes to be called Chucky V. So, Mr. Vola, I'm apologizing again, as I did many times in my years, and I've ran many laps then. I apologize. Chucky V. We had, before my time at Windsor High, the girls' soccer team had its highs. They won a state championship. I think Megan was a part of that team back in '91. We were kind of in our rebuilding stage, right? So, my freshman year, we were a solid 3-12-1. I was averaging about 20 saves a game, which in soccer is really bad defense and a lot of shots on goal. I was doing my job. And then our goal, over the years, we got better each year. I don't, remember our records our sophomore and junior year, but our senior year, we finally made it to states. And I was telling Mr. Wool, Coach, I really want to score a goal. Like, sometimes we play Weaver, Bloomfield, and he'd let me play the field. Once we got up 5 goals, he's like, all right, you can go play the field. Fine, just stop talking about it already. So here we are, we finally made states our senior year of high school. We get Newtown away, very solid team. We go down there, we're tied, I think it was 2-2 after regular time, and then we went to OT, still tied. I go running up to him, I've never been excited to be in a tie before, right? I go running up, I'm like, Coach, I got this, just let me do this. Let me be the 5th kicker for our team in penalty kicks. So I'm still the goalie, so I have to go make a save, blah, blah, blah. We're tied, and it's my turn to kick the 5th kick. We win the game. But, so, that was the pride and joy. You would have thought we won the whole state championship. We're running we're, the women's soccer championship. But people are, not me, but people were putting their jerseys over their head, diving on the ground, all that jazz. We were the best things on earth. And we really felt like we were the best things on earth. And then we had a second round game. I don't even know who the hell we played. We lost, I think 2-1. No big deal. We just had the best game of our lives. So, thank you, Coach Vola, for being here tonight. Thank you for helping me throughout high school, guiding me to be a better human. You said I wasn't bashful in high school. I felt like I was a really shy kid, but I think I was learning myself and just helped me grow over the years. Basketball. Coach Vinny, thank you for being here tonight, too. Basketball was my passion. It was my love. I quit playing softball at a young age to play basketball. And, Vinny and I started at Windsor High School the same year. He was the JV coach for the first year there, and then he moved up, thankfully, to the varsity position shortly thereafter. I can't remember that person's name, but I'm glad she wasn't there much longer. So Vinny and I, we had a decent team. We were a solid 500 team throughout the years, and again, I remember my senior year making it to state tournaments. We get Newtown again in the first round, away. And my best friend from AAU basketball happened to be on Newtown as well. And again, we go into overtime. Apparently it takes us some time to beat Newtown. But we go into overtime. My best friend fouls out on me, her last foul on me. I have to shoot 2 foul shots with a second to go in the game to take it to overtime. I make the foul shots. We go into overtime. We beat them. Not as much as a win for me since, my best friend on the other team just had the ending to her career in high school, but still a very big victory for us. Again, we go on. Apparently I don't remember who we lose to in state games, but I only remember the good moments of winning. On a side note, we had lots of great moments on the field, on the court for basketball and soccer, but some of the best moments were, things that were happening off the courts. The relationships I made, friendships I made, people I can still call to this day after not talking to for years at a time. So, again, thank you for inducting me into the Hall of Fame, and congratulations to all. Thanks.
Congratulations, Andrea. Very well-deserved honor. Our next inductee, unfortunately, could not be here tonight. That is Alessandra Nikki Neal, class of '01. Known as Nikki, participated in her favorite sport of track and field as well as playing basketball. Ran the 100, 200, and 4x100 meters all 4 years. Named to the all-conference and all-state teams during her participation for outdoor track and field. Captain of the team her junior and senior years, while earning 4 letters, and she also participated in indoor track her senior year, qualifying for the state open, and attended Howard, where she earned a degree in marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could please welcome our committee chair, Sheila Martin, to accept the award and say some words on behalf of Nikki Neal.
Good evening. I'm honored to read the thank you speech for Nikki Neal tonight. And here it is. Thank you to the Windsor Hall of Fame Committee for providing this opportunity to former student athletes. To my fellow inductees, what an honor for us to be a part of the class of 2022. Congratulations. Although I could not make it, I'm very grateful to receive this award. Much praise and love to my parents, brother, and family. Dad, thanks for being my first coach and encouraging me to participate in Hershey Track, Junior Olympics, and miscellaneous track meets you signed me up for and would tell me about the day before. Along with AAU travel basketball, as it helped to develop me for my high school athletic years. Our love for each other and track creates such a special bond. Mom, thanks for being my #1 support system to ensure I had a balance between school, sports, and other extracurricular activities, while taking me shopping for my sports accessories and shopping needs. Forever grateful. Brandon, my big bro, for the support to remain positive, teaching me to appreciate all the sports memories, whether a win or a loss, and giving tough skin because of all your corny jokes. Haha, thanks. To all my coaches who not only trained me, but pushed me to excel, thank you. Special acknowledgement to my track coaches, Dad, Mr. Crott, Coach Wilson, and Ms. McCormick. Thanks for putting up with my rare style of practice that included lots of jokes and laughter, while encouraging me to stay focused and push through practice. Basketball coaches Vinny and Rob, I enjoyed your leadership and pep talks. Windsor High School runs a tight athletic program, and I am honored to have been a part. It's great to see the commitment is still present. Kudos to all my former teammates, but especially my 4x1 relay team, as we created some really great memories, bonds, and really fast times. I also want to give a special acknowledgement to my former high school marketing teacher, Mr. Benoit, who helped to shape my passion for marketing and now career. Being a student athlete assisted in developing my now leadership and discipline skills and ability to adapt to teamwork. Although these skills were applied later on as a young adult, sports was always a part of that foundation. To current student athletes, enjoy the sport and your craft while having fun. Practice safely and make sure to stretch. Be sure to network with your competition, as you may work with them in some way in the near future. The bonds you form will be some of your best relationships. In the words of the iconic stylist B. Smith, whatever you do, do it with style. Again, I will forever cherish this moment and honored to be an inductee. Thank you. Alessandra Nikki Neal.
Now our next inductee tonight is John L. Burtz, class of '04. Growing up in the inner city of Hartford, she developed a competitive edge at an early age and wanted to win every game she played. After the passing of her father, she not only gained a guardian angel, but also attributes her upcoming success to her amazing support system, her loving mom, and her protective sisters, cousin, aunts, uncles, and all of her family who surrounded her with love. A basketball and field hockey standout at Windsor High School, she went on to play ball at St. Peter's before we all heard of St. Peter's in the NCAA tournament last year. And she earned a BA in communications there, playing all 4 seasons, finished her career at St. Peter's ranked first in minutes, ranked second in assists per game, 4th in threes, and was a 3-time all-conference player at the college level. Here to introduce John L. tonight is Kelly Welsh.
Good evening. I would just like to say congratulations to all the nominees for tonight. Me and Janelle been teammates since we were in the 6th grade. To describe her, she's the ultimate competitor. Winning is everything. Leaving it on the court, no matter what. When we first met, it was entering 6th grade in the Mayor Mike League in Hartford. We played, first time we met, and there was just a spark and a connection. We continued on through middle school, playing travel basketball, winning, and then entered high school, and we just made up a blueprint to win this championship come our senior year. It was a struggle in the beginning, but we kept chipping away, having a winning year, being ranked throughout our junior and senior years in the top 25 in Connecticut. And then we ended up winning the state championship, being ranked #1. And all I have to say, too, is Glastonbury and Manchester were probably the best games, even more so than our championship game, that we could have played. And we ended up beating the #1 seed for the 3-peat in our conference, and also gaining the state class championship. Janelle has been a success through her career, even in college, and continues, and our friendship is everlasting. With that being said, Janelle Burtz.
Oh man, I had to hug Mr. Fulton. We go way back. I didn't want to talk about that, but I'm a little nervous. Oh man, you would think after the 3rd induction, wow. But good evening, everybody. Like, you know, so I'm gonna read off my phone because I'm a little nervous. But whoo. Where Coach Vinny at? I see him. Hi, Vinny. Thank you for taking a chance on me. You and Coach Fox. I know I wasn't easy to coach. Ooh, this is deep. But hold on. Let me take a break. Jesus. Yeah. There go my mom. This is truly an honor, and I'm blessed to accept this award amongst the most greatest people that could have accepted this award. And when you're a part of a team, you stand for your teammates. You protect them. And through good and bad, you truly are blessed to have an amazing sisterhood. Without Kelly, the Ashley Rosemonds, like the supporting cast, I could never have accepted this award. To my amazing family, my mother, my aunt, she didn't read books in the stands, but she was there. Still, you know, she still came and supported me. And I appreciate that. My uncle, my sister, the whole supporting cast is truly an honor, and I appreciate this. Table 13, can I get y'all to stand up real quick? Where's my table? 13? Can everybody stand up? To my amazing wife. Can everybody stand up? Without that table, none of this would be possible. That's my table. Thank y'all.
One more round of applause for John Alberts. Our next inductee is from the class of '08, Justin Wilson. All-state recognition in 3 sports. Think about that. Not easy to do. Football, basketball, track and field, where he's a state New England champ in the long and triple jump. Set a new school record in both and finished 10th at nationals while he was only a sophomore. At Delaware State, he was a 2-time All-MEAC first-team pick, ranked 2nd on the Hornets' career list with 189 catches, and is 4th in team history with 2,416 receiving yards. I feel like that's where John Taylor played from the 49ers, Delaware State. So maybe you're just trailing John Taylor, so it's pretty good company. Also, 23 touchdown catches, probably against little DBs like me, not great DBs at URI like Chris. In 2010, he became the first player in the history of the MEAC to lead the league in receptions with 59, receiving yards almost 1,000, and TD catches with 11. Here to introduce Justin Wilson tonight is Ronald Wilson.
That's definitely where John Taylor went. He and I went there together. When my son, Justin, started walking at 9 months, we kind of figured we were onto something. My wife was an All-American in track. I was state champion in track. We thought track was going to be the thing. When he, a little known fact, they call him Jay Will. A lot of people don't know that he was in the band. Played the saxophone from 4th grade all the way through high school, but never wore the band uniform because he made varsity as a freshman. So that's one thing that we're proud of that most people don't even know about. But Justin went on to, as a 10th grader, he was state and New England champion in the long jump and triple jump, set a school record, and in the long jump and triple jump. And both of those records, one's still standing. His brother broke the other record in the triple jump. But he also won the Lindy Remigino, who's a Olympic gold medalist, had a meet, a really popular meet. They had multiple states, state MVP of the Hartford Invitational. Then he went on to, once he achieved that and won New England's as a 10th grader, track was on the back burner, even though I was a track coach. Basketball was his thing. So he started playing AAU and just started playing varsity as a little bit of varsity as a freshman. Sophomore, he kind of took off. Ended up being all-state in basketball, MVP of the Doc Hurley tournament, and really wanted to play basketball. But we're not the tallest. I'm 6 feet. He's 6 feet. He was dunking on guys in high school, and the crowd was excited. But as a 6-foot guard in college, you're a little guy. There were 6'6" guys bringing the ball down. So I talked him into going on to play football in college. Football was a sport that I thought he had the most talent and most opportunity, and it worked out. He ended up going to a football combine as a 10th grader and ran a fast time. The letters started pouring in. We ended up with 700 letters in high school. Ended up going up to Boston College for the 4th visit at Boston College. He came home and he said, Mom and Dad, Delaware State is the only school that I want to go to. And that's where my wife and I graduated from. So he ended up going to Delaware State. He set some records, set some conference records, and was picked up by the Green Bay Packers. Went to the Green Bay Packers as a wide receiver. When he left Green Bay, he went to Canada and played Canadian football with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. When he left Canada, he went and played arena football in Los Angeles with the LA Kiss, and then 2 years in Washington, D.C. So all that said, he had a really good athletic career, ended up getting hurt, but did graduate, just about to finish his master's, and is a really, really good person. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is that his biggest role as a father is going to be his best. Justin Wilson.
It's gonna be short and sweet. First off, definitely thank you to the committee for awarding me this honor. Thank you to Windsor High, anybody that's ever supported me, came to any events, games, track, football, basketball. Here we go. But just thank you for everybody that ever supported me, follow my journey through all these years. And I'm definitely honored to be here. But one thing I definitely want to say is this week is my father's birthday week. His birthday was Monday. So I'm 60 years old. And I really honestly, I wouldn't be able to do anything without him. He is the true definition of somebody that sacrifices for his kids. Even going as deep as changing his profession as a police officer to become a teacher, so he's able to take me to camps all summer. There's no greater sacrifice than that. Talk about a pay cut. Even though I do believe teachers should get paid more, but I definitely appreciate you, Dad, for that. Happy birthday this week. Thank you to the committee for inducting me into the Windsor High School Hall of Fame. It feels good because I'm actually working at Windsor High now. So, I get to talk to the kids and build with them and tell them my story. So it feels good. And I thank all you guys for coming tonight, and that's it.
Let's hear it again for Justin Wilson and his father, Ron, too. Ron looks like he'd still get out there and play. You kidding me? Both of these guys. A lot of talent in that family. Our next inductee is from the class of 2011, Jamie Wakefield, where at Windsor High, she was a starting player for soccer and lacrosse for all 4 years. 3-time all-conference player, 2-year all-state and captain for 2 years in lacrosse. Senior year scored a record 70 goals. All-conference and captain in soccer. The quarterback of the class of 2011 Powder Puff football team as well. All academic all 4 years. A high school academic All-American. continued her lax career at RPI, where she graduated magna cum laude. Here to introduce Jamie Wakefield tonight as our newest inductee. Please give a warm welcome for Marcy Milady.
Hi, everybody. It's an honor to be able to introduce Jamie for this award. I had the pleasure of coaching her when she was playing for the Windsor High School girls lacrosse team. I have so many great memories from those 4 years of coaching her. There are some athletes that you coach and you'll never forget. Jamie's one of them. Not just because of how talented she was as an athlete, but her ability to be a natural leader, her hard work ethic, and her kindness. I remember the first time seeing her play her freshman year. You couldn't miss her. She was somehow managed to be everywhere the ball was. She was relentless and wasn't scared to hold back. She constantly looked to challenge herself on a daily basis to be better and made others around her do that as well. If she set her mind to something, she was going to accomplish it. Whether on the field or in the classroom, she excelled. She received numerous accomplishments for lacrosse, such as all-conference, all-state, and second team and first team, and was a captain for the team both junior and senior year. She also played on the soccer team her 4 years in high school and was a captain as well. In the classroom, she was part of the National Honor Society and an AP Scholar. In 2010, she was chosen for an All-American academic team for lacrosse. What most stands out was her ability to lead. Her leadership style helped to build a team that worked hard both in and out of season. Her and the other captains and their teammates worked hard, trusted each other, and never gave up. By her senior year, the team ended with an overall 10-6 record. She was averaging about 4 goals per game. And she ended her senior season with 70 goals and 26 assists. She was not only a leader in the Windsor program, but she was also recognized as top in the state. She was top 10 in the Class M for all-time goals and all-time points in a season. Jamie continued on to become a college-level athlete, and during that time, she continued to be recognized for her achievements. I couldn't think of any other person to deserve this award than Jamie. Congratulations.
That's a long walk from back there. I'll keep it short. You guys have been a very patient audience all night. Thanks, Marcy, for that lovely introduction, and thank you to the committee for the honor. I think the most important things here goes to my parents. My mom is my #1 fan at any and every game, no matter what town, what state. And my dad, my first coach, somehow the only voice I ever heard on the field besides my coach at the time, always telling me I could run faster. And always giving me maybe different advice than my coach, but it seems like it worked out okay. We're here now. I think my best memories at Windsor High are playing sports. It gave me my best friends that I still talk to now. And thanks to Marcy for always pushing me. She always knew when I had another level to reach, and she was like, well, you can do it. I was like, okay, here we go. And then, my time at Windsor High, both on and off the field, really set me up for every success I've had since. It got me into the school I went to at RPI. I was able to play college lacrosse there, and at the most basic levels, teaching me to push myself, knowing that success is just on the other side of being uncomfortable. So really just my time at Windsor High as an athlete and as a student means a lot to me. So thank you again for your time, and congratulations to all the inductees tonight, and thanks again.
Congratulations, Jamie. Tremendous honor. Our next inductee is sadly no longer with us, but I'd like to read a little bit about Brian Gillespie, our distinguished supporter who's going to be inducted tonight. He was born in Hartford in 1946, and at 6 moved to Windsor, where he was raised. Graduated from Windsor High in 1964. After serving in the Air Force, he returned home from Vietnam, where he married his wife Diane and raised his children, Kelly and Brett. Windsor was his home until he passed away in October of 2011. Brian Gillespie was always an avid sports enthusiast, dedicated his life to volunteering, coaching, and getting kids ready for high school sports and beyond. Many of the young athletes he coached went on to have successful high school and college careers. Although Brian's heart and passion was baseball, he also coached several youth sports, softball, basketball, and soccer, just to name a few. Here to induct Brian Gillespie tonight is Chris Lucio. Please welcome Chris. I want to thank first Kevin Nathan. Great job tonight. I want to acknowledge the job that you're doing here. You would never know this, but back in the late 90s, I don't know, 98, 99, back when UConn won a national basketball championship, we were down in the celebration at the state capitol, and up across the lawn comes Kevin and another sportscaster by the name of Samantha Ryan. I really didn't acknowledge Kevin that night when I saw him there. It was more about Sam Ryan. But I want to acknowledge you tonight and thank you for a wonderful job. That's been weighing on me for quite a few years. Well, good evening. I want to start off by congratulating all of this year's nominees. Your hard work, your passion, your dedication have all culminated in receiving this remarkable honor here tonight. You're all deserving, and this night is about celebrating all of you. It's about acknowledging your self-accomplishments as well as your contributions to the success of your teammates, your coaches, and your school. Just as important as all of those things, it's an acknowledgement of your contribution to what has become a rich culture of athletics here in Windsor. Our Windsor athletic community, and specifically the recognition of one of its key contributors and distinguished supporters, is what brings me up here in front of you all tonight. A few weeks ago, I received a call and was offered what I consider one of the greatest honors of my life. Diane, Kelly, and Brett, I can't thank you enough for thinking of me and entrusting me as we celebrate your husband and father and my friend, Brian Gillespie. As Kevin mentioned, Brian lived all but 6 of his 75 years here in Windsor. And it was during his 69 years here that Brian dedicated a large portion of that time volunteering in Windsor Youth Athletic Leagues. He spent numerous years in Windsor soccer, spent 6 years in Windsor Youth Basketball, both boys and girls, 8 years in Windsor American Little League, back when we did have multiple Little Leagues in town, 3 years each in both Windsor Senior League and Babe Ruth Baseball, and a remarkable 27 years serving Windsor American Legion Baseball. He not only served as a coach, but also as a manager, director, and president of many of those leagues. Nobody I spoke to could ever recall Brian missing a practice or even a game. As his resume would suggest, Brian's true passion was baseball. And in fact, it wasn't uncommon to see Brian riding his lawnmower up the street to Windsor High School during the summer months to get the baseball field mowed and ready for a game. What really sets Brian apart from most is that he was involved in not only the years that his kids were playing and his grandchildren, but long afterwards. It is estimated that Brian had involvement in well over 1,000 kids participating in Windsor Youth Athletics. Many of these kids went on successful athletic careers in both Windsor High School and in college. Brian will always be remembered as a calming force. In fact, I don't ever recall him being aggravated, ever. Not even at a bad call from an official or an umpire at a game, or many years later and some of the shenanigans that those at Table 11 and some of the other around here that we pulled off. I don't ever remember Brian being angry about anything. He was a stable figure, a role model, and a leader. He not only had a profound impact on the kids of town, but also many of the adults that he volunteered alongside with. In preparing for tonight, I spoke to some former players and colleagues. Some of what stood out to me in those conversations was his passion, his commitment, and his dedication to the lives he touched. One player shared that he and another teammate were put into a summer camp, which undoubtedly was probably to keep them out of trouble in Windsor. But Brian didn't want them to miss out on their all-star experience. So every day, Brian would drive the 45 minutes to an hour from Windsor to go pick these two players up at camp, bring them back to practice or a game, and immediately afterwards bring them back to camp. That's the type of dedication he had to his players. He was a male role model, sometimes the first and only that a player had. And he was described as one of the greatest human beings that I've ever come in contact with. In speaking to a former coach, he mentioned, Brian was there through it all the highs, all the lows, and always had the same demeanor. He was always there for me and there for the kids in our program. There weren't many like Brian. For me personally, Brian was a friend, a mentor, and I often joke that he was my Connecticut dad after my parents moved away. We often spoke about coaching and the challenges that volunteering brings on, but he always encouraged me to stay involved, block out the distractions, and keep going forward because the kids need an outlet and someone they can look up to. So, as I wrap this up, I want to thank the Windsor High School Athletic Hall of Fame Committee for recognizing Brian Gillespie as a distinguished supporter and acknowledging his years of dedication to the youth of Windsor. Brian now joins his friends and past recipients, Howard Jubry, Paul Cody, and Bill Walsh, guys who were all fixtures around the athletic fields in the late 80s, 90s, and 2000s, as recipients of this distinguished supporter recognition. I also want to once again thank the Gillespie family for allowing me to do this for them. This has truly been one of the greatest honors of my life. And finally, I want to share a portion from the memorial card from Brian's services last year, which Brian wrote himself. Brian wrote, I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave smiles on everyone's face when my life is done. I'd like you to remember me when the Yankees or New York Giants play, knowing that I'm watching from above. Well, Brian, you definitely made us smile. And now, along with whenever the Yankees and Giants play, we will think of you when any Windsor team plays, and we will always think of you for what you truly are, our Hall of Famer. Thank you. Great job, Chris, carrying on the memory and obviously incredible legacy of Brian Gillespie. And the last thing I expected tonight was a Sam Ryan reference. That is a blast from the past. I would have walked by you too, though, to say hi to Sam, just to make that straight. Our next inductee really needs no introduction, just a total fixture in this community. After graduating from University of New Hampshire, Joanne Chasen, Coach Chasen, was hired as a Spanish teacher at Windsor High, where she taught for 29 years. The opportunity to coach began when several students approached her about starting a girls' track team back in 1977. She coached the girls' track team from 77 to 84. The team went from its infancy to winning the CVC championship in 81. This was the first girls' track championship in the school's history, and during those 8 years, Joanne's teams were very successful because of things like hard work and discipline for those athletes on the team. Along with track, she coached the cheerleading team from 78 until 88. The team cheered for both girls and boys sports. The team grew to include both girls and boys, which was a new approach at the time in high school cheerleading, and this added to the team's ability to do more complicated, interesting stunts and mounts. And the Windsor High cheerleading teams hosted the CVC cheerleading competitions in 79 and 83. The teams won the Central Valley Conference competition. While attending summer cheerleading camps, the teams worked on improving all of their skills and won a number of awards. This, to me, might be the most impressive amongst all that. In retirement, Joanne volunteers at St. Francis Hospital and Medical Center, working the ICU and the other areas of the hospital. She also works at the McLean Senior Housing Community in Simsbury. Just an incredibly philanthropic person. Here to introduce Joanne tonight is Pat Gardner.
Good evening. It is truly an honor and pleasure to introduce to you this year's Windsor Athletic Hall of Fame Coach inductee, Mrs. Joanne Chasen. Coach Chasen certainly was a successful track and field and cheerleading coach, and certainly won championships. However, not every coach has the ability to bring in heart, have the countenance, patience, and genuine love for others that truly have a positive, long-lasting, and life-changing impact on young people's lives. For me, my older sister, and so many others, this is what made Mrs. Chasen an exceptional coach, and more importantly, a special individual. On a personal note, if it had not been for Mrs. Chasen's kindness of heart, I would not have had the amazing experiences of being part of the Windsor High School's track and field and cheerleading teams, or the 1981 championship team, as I did not have the means of transportation. But Mrs. Chasen gave of herself, and she provided me with rides after every practice and many competitions. During these rides, she took the time to have meaningful conversations with me. She also would even take time to answer questions to further clarify a homework assignment. To this day, I am so very thankful and grateful for her and for her kindness, as it was truly a life-changing experience that I had the opportunity to grow, develop, build relationships, and be part of these incredible teams. We did not view Mrs. Chasen as just our coach, because she never treated us as just her athletes. We were teenagers with full teenage lives and issues of navigating, but she never backed away. She never backed away from any part of who we were. She saw us each as a whole being, and she met us where we were. Mrs. Chasen's contributions and success go far beyond her days of coaching and championships, all because she was willing to pour into the young people's lives. The fruits of her nurturing spirit, mentoring, positive influence over the many years are immeasurable. She encouraged us in areas such as our low self-esteem to build confidence and greater self-image. She supported us with things such as unfairness, allowing us to feel validated and heard. She taught us about hard work, commitment, accountability, responsibility, and would not accept less than our best to build our character. Mrs. Chasen taught us these and so many other valuable life lessons that helped shape us to who we are today. As adults, we now pay it forward to others. Coach Chasen is someone, many of her former athletes and students have remained in contact with and built very special and lasting friendships. This evening, we celebrate Coach Chasen for the wins and the championships, but we love and admire her and adore her for the human connection, the authentic love she displayed to us as young people. And that will last a lifetime. I proudly present to you the Windsor Athletic Hall of Fame Coach Inductee of 2022, our coach, Mrs. Joanne Chasen. Congratulations.
Favorite Spanish teacher and my track teacher. Me and Mary we have great love for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Boy, I'll tell you that speech was a hard act to follow. I'm very appreciative. I'm truly honored and humbled to have been chosen to be a member of the Windsor High School Athletic Hall of Fame this evening. I have to say that the honor would never have been possible without the wonderful, hardworking student athletes that I had the opportunity to coach at Windsor High School. The girls' track and field team and the fall and winter cheerleading teams were truly a joy to work for. It was an opportunity for which I am eternally grateful, and about which I have many fond memories and a lot of bus trips behind me. Both teams, when I thought about it, both teams shared many of the same positive qualities, and both had the same will to excel. As mentioned, the 1981 track and field team achieved a league championship while the cheerleading team hosted clinics, attended camps, won competitions, and were frequently noted by others as being outstanding. I'm thankful to those who gave me the opportunity to coach and not just to teach at Windsor High School. I learned a lot when I was coaching. I learned that coaches have a unique opportunity to know student athletes in a unique way, which is not always shared by the classroom teacher, and I will always treasure those memories. I would like to thank the committee, not only for selecting me, but for their diligent work in attempting to continue to recognize Windsor High School's excellent athletes, as well as their excellent coaches. And finally, I would like to thank my family for their support, my husband Barry for sharing his love of sports with me, which certainly made my choice to coach seem totally logical, and also for the support of my son Matthew. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Coach Chasen. Some beautiful words, and I also want to recognize Pat Gardner for equally beautiful words. It reminds us all, everyone here, whoever played a sport or was a coach, just how powerful a coach can be on our lives. I would argue, to what Coach Chasen was saying, even sometimes that relationship with athletes can be stronger than it is between a teacher and a student, because, you know, they can yell at you out of the field and get you to do stuff. And it sticks with you the rest of your life. That's the key. Don't go too far, Coach, because our next inductee is the 1981 girls track and field team, the CVC Conference champs. Is this the big table over here? I'm hearing some hoot and holler. 2 tables, how about that? So the 81 girls track and field team was the first to win a championship as a varsity sport. Think about that. We take girls sports for granted today. This is, not even a decade removed from Title IX, different time. So they were ahead of their time as the first to win a championship, finishing first in the Central Valley Conference. It marked the progress the team had made from club to varsity. Think about that. The team had an equal number of runners, jumpers, and field athletes, all of whom are dedicated and hardworking, and obviously a tight bunch. And thanks to the girls' cooperative attitudes and spirit, many realized that they were very good at an event which they maybe had never even considered trying. All team members were allowed to try multiple events with the emphasis on team success, which is what it's all about. Here to present this amazing team, again, is Coach Chasen.
Speak again? Oh, big eyes for you. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I just thought, oh God, I have to do this again right now. Scary. I know how Janelle felt. A little bit nervous. A couple of things Kevin already mentioned, but I'm just going to re-mention them briefly. The girls' track and team, track and field.
She's standing on her tippy toes. I see it. You guys don't see it.
The girls' track and field team began as a club in 1977 when 2 lovely students approached me in the hall at Windsor High School and told me that they wanted to have a club, but they were told by the administration that they needed to find an adult. Okay, so thus began my and their careers. Okay, equally challenging at the moment. The 2 students who approached me, I would like to mention their names. I don't know where they are, but I hope all is well with them. One of them was Karen Blaze, and the other one was Deborah Carson, whose names have stayed with me all these years. They were the 2 young ladies who went around the school building trying to elicit help in terms of starting a girls' track and field club. The 1981 team being honored this evening became the culmination of early years as well as the years when the team became a varsity sport. The team was highlighted by a group of talented athletes who were dedicated. They were disciplined by force, sort of. They were very hardworking, and they were willing to try a host of activities, some of which they had never done before. A good example recently was Pat herself, who said to me, "Oh my God, I never realized I knew how to throw a javelin." So, these were things that, it was the initial stage, and these were things that they discovered. Emphasis was placed on the importance of individual improvement and performance, but the team result was always a collaborative team result. They understood the concept of team as well as the individual achievement that's part of track and field. There was a strong emphasis on we and a little bit less emphasis on I in terms of the program. The team members, I can remember clearly, always supported each other. The field kids used to come over and cheer for the runners when they were doing their competition, and vice versa. The runners always wanted to know what was happening with the field kids. And so, that type of thing really promotes team success. That's what it's all about. The sense of common support helped produce what eventually came to be a team that won the championship. I would like to congratulate all the members of the team, the managers of that team, and I would also like to share with you that my assistant, Marie Castle, was unable to come this evening. She is ill, but she wanted to send her best messages and love to the members of the team. Okay? So I think from here we go to announcing those who are on the team. So if they would, we want them to come up. Yes? Okay, very good. So Marie can't be here, so we'll start with Terry Carpenter. Terry. Terry, help me with the correct pronunciation of your married name. Saucier. Saucier. I was a Spanish teacher.
I know, I took Spanish with you.
I know, but not a French.
I know.
Saucier. All right, so this was, to me, was Terry Carpenter. Patricia Gardner, whom you... Betty Gregory Joseph. Diane Jackson Hayes. Cecile Lee. Monica Lorerio Delfino. Monique Menard Roach. And Ellen Sherino Dogowitz. Congratulations to all.
Is she here?
We don't have the name. Jan, were you on that team? I'm sorry. No, but she was on teams. She wasn't on that team, but she was on teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta get the picture.
Are we all set? Thank God.
As they get their picture taken, one more round of applause for the 1981 girls track and field team, CVC Conference champions. And Coach Chasen said you have a workout at 6 a.m., all right? Our final inductee tonight is also a team. It's the 19... You guys can go... Yeah, make your way. I don't want to break this up. One more round of applause for this great team. Our final inductee tonight, or inductees as it were, is the 1975 Windsor High football team CVC Conference champs. This was a total turnaround story after a 1974 season that wasn't good, that produced a 3-win, 7-loss record. The 75 Windsor Warriors football team began with a daunting task of trying to rebuild, furthered by the graduation of 24 seniors from the 74 team. I don't know if they were 3 and 7. Maybe it was like, hey, get out of here. Let's turn this thing around. I don't know. You can tell them I said that. After a season-opening loss at Torrington, the coaching staff made several changes to the starting lineup, and the team responded by winning 7 of its final 9 games, including a 6-win, no-loss conference record, resulting in the school's first outright Central Valley Conference CVC football championship. The senior class deserves a great deal of credit for the leadership they gave both in the locker room and on the football field. No team has ever overcome more obstacles, exhibited more growth and improvement in a short period of time than that 75 CVC Conference Championship team from Windsor, and we are thrilled and honored with their election into the Windsor High Hall of Fame tonight. And here to talk about this great team is Steve Karasinski.
We're going to do things a little different. We're going to bring the team up now. So as I call your name, come on up. Tri-Captain Keith Orsini. Tri-Captain Tim Johnson. Tom Deno. Tim Conley. Hall of Famer Ken Johnson. Our manager, Greg Wentworth. Our trainer, Ken Blood. And our favorite coach, George Kowicki. I went back to the yearbook and I noticed that a lot of students had picked Mr. Kowicki as their favorite teacher. So not only on the field, but in the classroom, he was a lot of people's favorite. An extra hand for him. This team has gone through a lot to get here. It's been 47 years. We've lost 9. Head coach Bill Lazinski, Jimmy Freeman, Mark Brousseau, Ben Liptak, Willie Murray, John DeMonte, Mike Simpson, Dave Belasovich, and Jim Scarino. These are the ones we know about. And big hand to them. There's 4 all-conference players in that group, Jimmy, Mark, Ben, and Willie. Without just one of them, we wouldn't be here tonight. Tom Butterworth, Ed Kenny are home, unable to attend due to illness. Coach Bob Henderson is now Congressman Henderson, representing Iowa in the 2nd District. And Tri-Captain Bill Phillips unable to attend. There's at least 17 that we don't know the whereabouts of. Another handful that weren't able to make the trip tonight. There's 4 here tonight that are the first to be in the Hall of Fame for 2 football teams. That's the 73 team and the 75 team. Keith Orsini, Tom Deno, Tim Johnson, and myself. It was the 73 team that inspired us as sophomores to drive this 75 team to an undefeated championship. We 4 lettered for that team, but we were not given our letters. The Booster Club awarded Letterman jackets to all the seniors, which was right since all seniors get a letter. And they gave them to all the juniors, even those who didn't letter. And to us sophomores who played, contributed, and lettered, we didn't get any recognition. When we started in August of 75, we chose our tri-captains late. Coach told the papers there was a morale problem. Maybe with the 74 team, but not with us. We knew what we wanted, and it was our turn to run the show. We brought back the 73 team inspirational music by Traffic called Low Spark of High Heel Boys, and that was the signal to let you know you had about 10 minutes left to get your act together, get at the back door, and be ready to go out. Like Mr. Nathan said, 74 graduated 24 seniors. Coach Lazinski had 4 returning starters to work with, and our first game turned out to be more of a scrimmage. And after those changes were made, we kicked it into high gear. When we played Rockville, we came from behind to win. Rockville would turn out to be the only CVC team to score on us in the second half. We went on to shut out Newington in a game Coach said he thought we'd lose. We faced Windsor Locks in the mud, came from behind again, shutting them out in the second half. Same story at Glastonbury, come from behind, shut out in the second half. That left us with South Windsor and Bloomfield to win that goal that we had set in August, and we shut them both out. Glastonbury, Newington, and Windsor Locks were all picked to finish above us. Coach had told the papers in September he was hoping for a 5-5 season. He told Tom Butterworth he didn't think we would win a single game. Tom told Coach, but we are so tight. We have each other's backs. Coach didn't think it was enough. This brotherhood was incredible. We were tight, always together, always working as one. Tom never told a soul until about a month ago. A couple years ago, Keith divulged that Lazinski didn't want him as a captain, thought he wasn't the right choice. Thank God Coach didn't change that, because Keith was the team leader, both on and off the field. Many a pre- and post-game meeting took place at the Orsini home. Many thanks to his mom for opening up her home for us. Keith was known as the rah-rah guy. At school, our greatest supporter was John, a.k.a. the Friar. Friar was the janitor. And Friar would leave us inspirational messages on the board each week. And if anybody got in trouble at school that week, the Friar would go see the principal and get that person assigned to him for cleanup duty. Don Conkey of the Hartford Times wrote after we won the CVC, "They move one way out there, then another, never looking very impressive. There's no raising of hands and false excitement, no yells, no congratulations, no put-on pats on the back. They give you yardage on the ground, they allow you some through the air, they do everything but let you score." In that same article, Coach said, "It's what they've been doing all year. There are no stars, they just all do their jobs." Conkey said, this is the second title for the Warriors. The first they can call their own. And Lazinski added, this one means more. Many people have told us this was his favorite team. I will always remember after Bloomfield, Coach came to Tom Butterworth's house where we were meeting, and he drank a beer with us. And I can see it like it was yesterday. Woody Anderson wrote in the Hartford Courant, if there was going to be a loser this year, it was the Windsor High School football team. You could tell Lazinski enjoyed this season perhaps more than any other. This Windsor team has shown so much growth, made so much out of such shabby preseason hopes, and turned what should have been a loser into a winner. Now that's a football team. When it was over, we were undefeated in the CVC. We outscored our opponents 148-45, shut out Newington, South Windsor, and Bloomfield. We allowed just one score in all the second half. We came from behind in 3 conference games. We put 5 on the all-conference offensive team, 4 on the defense. Tom Deno, our nose guard, had the lineman's dream come true. Tom intercepted a pass and scampered in for a touchdown. And they thought we'd come in 4th. Now that's a football team. What this team worked on the whole time was our spirit. We didn't have size, we didn't have strength, we didn't have speed, we didn't have skills. We had spirit, and that was about it. Like the coach had said, there were no stars. Thomas Jefferson said, nothing can stop the man with the right mental attitude from accomplishing his goal. True in 1775, true in 1975. You're 75 Warriors, folks.
So we do have one last person on the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Assistant Coach Barry Chaser.
Coach. Where do I give this? You?
Oh, yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
One more round of applause for the 1975 championship team. As we wrap up tonight, just a thought for everybody, because there's so many people here who are athletes or part of a team, and hearing Steve talk about this great team and how they've lost teammates. My college football team, I can relate to these guys. We went from worst to undefeated, and we've lost a bunch of guys. So as we leave here tonight, you know, if there's that coach in your life or that teammate that matters, you know, pick up the phone, call them. The love that you get from a team is second only to tight family, and I would argue that it is family. So on that note, congratulations to all of our winners tonight, and go Windsor High.
Thank you, Mr. Nathan. We'll give him a round of applause, our MC tonight. Thank you so much for coming, taking your time out to celebrate with us today. Just a few things. Again, thanks, Kevin, for coming. Hopefully when you speak to Darren, you can tell him we had a conversation. This plaque, okay, for all the inductees, this plaque will be hung outside the gym as soon as we can get someone to come in and put it up. But please come and see it. This plaque will definitely be put up in the gym, outside of the gym. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee. As we finish up, thank you so much for all your hard work. don't know if you had a chance to see the program. That was well put together. I don't know who did it, so thank you for doing that and all the sponsors that help us get that together. All the inductees for sharing a piece of your lives. So when you listen to those stories, it does bring us back to our childhood. And some of the things that I learned tonight is why I'm glad I was a part of this particular ceremony, and why I think I was so attached to sports in my life as well. It's been a huge influence on me as well. Thank you, Town of Windsor, for providing the resources that we needed, right, as our young people grow. And in ending, I want to hit a quote by one of my favorite books called A Season of Life by a former NFL player called Joe Ehrman. So he says, at the end of our life, we ought to be able to look back over it from our deathbed and know somehow the world is a better place because we lived, we loved, we were other-centered, we were other-focused. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Enjoy. I'm sorry. I was supposed to also say there is some nominations on the table, right? So there's some Hall of Fame nominations on how the process goes. So someone has to, nominate. If you have people who you think are worthy of being in the Hall of Fame, please make sure you take one of those. It explains what we need to do to get our people going. Thank you so much.